Here's Victoria Wagner, my best friend, who helps me do a lot of this stuff. First of all, we still got some stragglers down the street. Let's say we start off the show with a bang. We're going to end it with a bang, so how about a charge? This is a 12-pound mountain howitzer. Not that the gun weighs 12 pounds. The projectile it shoots is, which is there's an original cannonball for this gun sitting down here on the box. You can see when you leave from the Battle of Shiloh. These guns were all over out west in the forts. They threw a large 12-pound projectile and a small gun. This is a pack carriage designed to be packed on 3 mules plus the ammunition mules. It's a muzzle loader. It's also kind of an attention getter. We'll see if we can wake up the people down there by the shady spot. Using a friction primer, which is a wire passing through a metal tube. Like a match, when you pull it, it strikes it, sets off a small charge, or sets off the larger charge most of the time. So, fire in the hole, 2 finger, 1 finger, use a knob. Take what's called a sponge, get it wet. You want to extinguish any burning embers. See the smoke? Where there's smoke, there's fire. If you don't get all the burning embers out when you load that next charge down there, it'll go off when you're in this position. I've seen 2 guys lose their hands doing that. It's not pretty, but that's 2 less competitors in my job. Let's reload. Obviously, a little later in the show, you'll hear that again. The main theme is guns in the Wild West, stuff that was used out here. I'm going to do a real quick, I could talk all day about this stuff. I was supposed to be watching that clock there. This whole area from California through Texas was fought over, trampled over, conquistadors, Mexican Army, French Army, U.S. Army, both sides, for years, over 100 years. Every type of weapon that was around at that time was in use here. I've got representative weapons here. The first one we're going to do is the flintlock. It was the assault weapon of its day. Most famous for us in the Revolutionary War, but still in use up through the 1840s, about the time this little cannon came into effect. The idea was to have a weapon you could load fast and fire fast. All you had to sacrifice with this one was accuracy. They're only accurate out to about 40 or 60 yards. The way you load it is you got a safety. That's called half cock. Anybody heard that phrase before? Yeah. Half cock? Okay. You put it on half cock, get a paper cartridge, has your gunpowder, and your ball inside it that you're going to shoot. Also the priming powder to prime. That flintlock has a piece of stone in it, which strikes this piece, makes a spark, sets the whole thing off. So you got to tear it off with your, it tastes terrible, mostly sulfur. From that pouch, first you've got to prime the weapon, close it. Now you're at half cock, remember? If I drop this on the ground and I have a defective musket and it goes off while I'm ramming the rest of it down here, you get a miniature version of the big accident we just described there. That's called going off at half cock. So, it didn't go off. You're going to dump your powder down, fish the ball out of there, dump that down. Normally you'd pull the ramrod, tamp the ball in, put the ramrod back in the weapon, bring it up to your shoulder, put it on full cock, fire in the hole. Got 1 shot off. Repeat the same process over again. For cartridge now, like we know it today, except it was rimfire. We have that in 22s. Back then it was everything was using that. Not reloadable. They came out with this weapon. The government didn't buy any, but a lot of units bought them private purchase. It looks like a Winchester. It's the predecessor of the Winchester. You've got to load the magazine from the front like this, dropping your rounds down in there, which produces a little bit of a safety problem. You don't have to worry about half cock or flash in the pan anymore. But if you slip and let that spring go, bullets were still pointy at that time on the end, you're going to set one off, which will set all the others off. It holds up to 13 of those things in there, which makes it an assault weapon in California and New York. But unlike those other two, you could do this with this weapon. Fire in the hole. 1860 technology. They've sold thousands of these during the Civil War to these different units. And they did a lot of damage with them. However, they were close-range weapons. They could only make them in pistol caliber. The Army, wanting to save taxpayer dollars after the Civil War and make a better weapon for their troops, decided to take all the spare parts from that percussion musket, which looks like this, and turn it into a single-shot breech-loading rifle. They still have the long range. You're using a cartridge like the Henry, but a big cartridge, 45 caliber. You can shoot almost a mile away and have a chance of hitting something with this. Now, it's a little slower than the Henry. I'm going to do 2 cartridges here, give you an idea. You're out there in the field, pull it out of your belt, put in the first one, fire in the hole, put in the second one, fire in the hole. Made by the cheapest bidder, I bet. This was great. Now, this weapon specifically, and that Henry weapon, clashed on a battlefield out west called Little Bighorn. 227 troopers under Custer's command armed with that carbine with the hope of shooting at a long distance at their targets that they never got. There were a lot more Indians and a lot more of those Henry rifles, which had been sold on the surplus market because they were dangerous to load. They had non-reloadable ammunition. They went cheap, and that's who got them. And they used them there. So, give you an idea how very good reason not to. He said they would hold his column up. They'd have trouble getting them set up and used. Well, he never got to test that theory. This gun's in a lot better condition than he is now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to fire 2 magazines for you. There are 40 rounds in a magazine, same caliber as that cavalry carbine. I'm going to do the first magazine slow. It's your Kodak moment. You'll be able to get over the initial shock and get a good video of it or a still. What you're going to see is so much smoke, I can't see what I'm shooting at. What they did, had somebody standing upwind from the smoke would do the elevating wheel up and down. A little device here called an oscillating device would wiggle the gun from side to side. At 500 yards, it would cover the width of the church front here, because the guy can't see what he's shooting at. The upwind guy would tell you up and down. Your crew would move you right and left if you had to. It was a drawback, but the gun still had some pluses. So, 1 magazine, kind of slow. Fire in the hole. It's a fairly reliable weapon if you keep it clean. As you notice, not only can I not see what I'm shooting at, they can't see what I'm shooting at either. If you got used to the gun, if you were able to practice, which they didn't very much, you can feel the round going through the system. You can produce quite a different effect than what I just showed you. The main problem being with the black powder guns, the bores foul and get dirty, the bullets start to get stuck in the barrel. Every 300 to 400 rounds, you've got to flush it out with water or something. The gun's capable of firing way faster than that. Typically on the battlefield, if you used it for an extended period of time, you would have to clean the barrel approximately every minute to every 45 seconds. I don't think you're going to want to do that, or risk a jammed gun. So, what I'm going to do now is a demonstration on this Colt Gatling without a modified gun with the same ammo of how fast a rate of fire you can get out of one of these things. So, it doesn't jam. Fire in the hole. guns were prominent in were won by the gun just showing up.
Sergeant?
Are you guys back again? I'm sorry, did I wake you from your siesta?
Hey, what are you doing? Get up here.
Whoa, magazine. Magazine.
All right.
Get the money.
You last year, we're coming to get the gold.
Yeah. Wait till the ball goes down.
Hey, you're not gonna make the top on that.
What? Hey, what are you doing?
I need to get over here.
Huh? We'll have to do this a different way.
All right. There's no way you can reach me up here, so I wouldn't even think about it.
I don't have to reach you up there. All I have to do is knock the building down and bring you down here.
Please do not do that.
I'll see you in a minute. Around the hole. Now the nice part about that stunt he just did was that at the moment of firing, as you can see the smoke filled that pit, he already had to judge where he was going to land. He's a little bit far forward too, because he couldn't see where he was jumping into with the smoke. We hope you enjoyed our demonstration and the show that went along with it.